How many times have you set an alarm for 5 a.m. with massive ambition, only to hit snooze and wake up at 8 a.m. with massive guilt? You see articles about successful CEOs waking up early. You try it once, maybe twice, but you always slide back into old habits. You tell yourself, I'm just not a morning person. But what if that belief is the only thing standing between you and the life you want? What if I told you that your destiny is determined in the silent hour before the sun comes up? This is the story of Richard, a man who had absolutely nothing until he discovered that 5 a.m. was his secret weapon. Richard was 35 years old, stuck in a dead-end loop in a gray industrial town. He worked the graveyard shift as a security guard, clocking in at 8 p.m., clocking out at 6 a.m., drained of all energy. His home was a one-room box with a flickering bulb and a mattress on the floor. His bank account was empty. His spirit was emptier. But his true poverty wasn't financial. It was the feeling of being trapped in a life that was moving backward. Every morning as he walked home to sleep, he watched the rest of the world waking up to purpose. He saw fathers walking kids to school and businessmen rushing to offices, while he was just going home to hide from the day. He felt helpless. He had no degree, no skills, and no energy to learn them after a 10-hour night shift. Once a week, his mother would call from the village. "Richard, when will you find your way? I want to see you safe before I die." He would lie to her. "Soon, Mala, I have a plan." But there was no plan, just survival. Then, on a freezing Tuesday in November, the phone rang. It was his sister. Mala collapsed. She's in the hospital. Panic seized him. He took the first bus out of the city, his heart pounding for 3 agonizing hours. At the clinic, he found his mother frail and exhausted. The doctor said it was stress and malnutrition. She needed help he couldn't afford to give. She gripped his hand weakly. "Richard, please, don't waste your life like I did. Promise me you'll find a way." He sat there until she slept, looking at her worn-out hands. Sadness turned into a cold, hard rage at his own inability to save her. He stepped out of the clinic. It was 5 a.m. The world was dark, silent, and cold. In that pre-dawn silence, Richard made a vow. No more. I will not live like a victim anymore. On the bus ride back, he sat opposite an older man in a sharp suit reading a book. It was Mr. John, a wealthy local business owner. Richard checked his watch. It was barely dawn. He asked, "Mr. John, why is a successful man like you on this early bus?" Mr. John smiled. "I wake at 4:30 a.m. every day. I use the quiet time to think and plan before the chaos begins." Richard was confused. "But when do you sleep?" "At 9 p.m., John replied. He looked at Richard's uniform. "You work nights, don't you? You sleep when the world works and work when the world sleeps." John leaned in. "The hours between 5 a.m. and 7 a.m. are magic. That is when you build your future." "But I work until 6 a.m., Richard said defensively. "I need my rest." "Then change your schedule," John countered. "Sleep immediately after work, wake up at 11:30 a.m., then live your real life." He handed Richard a card. "If you are serious about changing your destiny, call me. But be warned, it requires discipline most men don't have." That night, Richard did something new. He didn't sleep the day away. He called Mr. John. They met at a cafe. Mr. John drew a simple house on a napkin. "Your life is falling apart because it has no foundation. From 5 a.m. to 7 a.m., you are the architect. While they dream, you build. That is 14 hours a week, 730 hours a year. That is 3 months of extra work days annually. That is how you win." Mr. John laid out the system. Hour 1, 5 to 6 a.m. This is for wealth. Learn a skill that pays. No social media, no TV. You learn a trade, a language, or a software. The internet makes this free. Hour 2, 6 to 7 a.m. This is for health. You move your body. If the body fails, the mind follows. Then came the rules. Rule 1, no negotiation. You wake up at 5 a.m. daily, weekends included. Rule 2, you sleep by 9 p.m. You cannot cheat biology. Rule 3, the first week will feel like hell. Your mind will beg you to quit. You must push through. Give me 120 days, John said. If you do this for 120 days and your life hasn't changed, I will find you a better job myself. The next morning, the alarm screamed at 5 a.m. Richard felt physical pain. Every cell in his body wanted to stay in bed. But he remembered his mother in that hospital bed. He threw the covers off. He sat at his wobbly table in the dark, watching free Excel tutorials on his cracked phone. At 6 a.m., he forced himself to walk the neighborhood. He was exhausted, but he was doing it. Week 1 was torture. Week 2 was a blur. But by day 21, the fog began to lift. At 4:58 a.m. on the 22nd day, Richard opened his eyes before the alarm. He didn't feel angry anymore. He felt a spark of power. The tutorials started making sense. He was learning data analysis and inventory management. He realized he was no longer just a security guard. He was a student of his own potential. Coworkers noticed he looked sharper, healthier. "What changed, Richard?" they asked. "I stopped waiting for life to happen," he smiled. "I started building it, 2 hours at a time." In the 3rd month, Richard built a spreadsheet to track the warehouse inventory, which was always a mess. He showed it to his supervisor. The man was stunned. "How do you know how to do this?" "I wake up at 5 a.m. and teach myself," Richard replied. Word traveled up to the owner. On day 95, Richard was called into the main office. "We need someone to run the new accounting system," the manager said. "The job is yours. Day shift. Double the salary." Richard stood there, stunned. The nightmare of the night shift was over. That evening, he called Mr. John. "I did it! 120 days! I got the promotion!" "I knew you would," John said warmly. "But Richard, don't stop. 5 a.m. isn't a challenge anymore. It's who you are." A year later, Richard was the lead accountant. He moved his mother into a clean apartment with proper medical care. He still woke up at 5 a.m. Those hours were sacred. They were the reason he wasn't poor anymore. Richard's story proves one undeniable truth. The distance between where you are and where you want to be is not talent. It is not luck. It is not magic. It is what you do when the rest of the world is unconscious. Between 5 a.m. and 7 a.m., there are no distractions. Your willpower is full. The world is yours to conquer. Successful people don't wake up early because they enjoy suffering. They do it because they know that winning the morning means winning the life. I am passing Mr. John's challenge to me. So here's your challenge. 1. Set your alarm for 5 a.m. right now. Not 5:15, not 5:30. Put your phone across the room. Make yourself stand up to turn it off. 2. Pick one skill to learn. Just one. Commit to it for the first hour of your day. 3. Protect your bedtime. Cut the Netflix, stop the scrolling, go to sleep. If you do this for 120 days, you will not recognize the person looking back at you in the mirror. Richard had nothing. No money, no degree. You have the internet and this video. You have no excuse. Will you hit snooze and dream about a better life? Or will you wake up and build one? Join the 5 a.m. club. Hit the like button to seal your commitment and tell me in the comments, what are you building tomorrow morning? If Richard's story woke something up inside you, help us wake up the world. Your support gives us the strength to create more stories like this. Please share this with a friend who needs it and subscribe to join our community. Let's build our futures, one morning at a time.